Just curious, are you okay with sibling rivalry? For me, as an ENFJ, it's the only conflict that I'm okay with. I almost feel like I'm being a hypocrite because I say I hate conflict. I like harmony, and I really don't have a huge tolerance for it unless it's with a sibling. Then I have a huge tolerance for it, and I'm probably too accepting of it and too okay with it. In fact, I think it's something that I want to work on. It's an area that I want to get better at because I'm very blunt when it comes to that. I can speak my mind, I can be too harsh, I can say things that I feel really bad about later and very guilty about. So I know sometimes I need to hold back. I think I'm easily triggered in that area, and it's easy to do. So what about your MBTI? Are you comfortable with conflict with a sibling? Do you think it's okay or do you think it's not okay? Do you notice that there are certain MBTI siblings in your family? And when we say sibling rivalry or conflict, also you can think of like with your parents as well. Like, do you have conflict with them? Do you think it's okay or do you think it's not okay? How does your MBTI type handle it? And do you notice that a specific MBTI type in your family seems to have the most conflict with your family of origin or people that you're the closest with? So I'm really curious about this area. I think with siblings and sibling rivalry and competition and all of that, your siblings are the first people that you learn social skills with. They're at your house before you even go out into the world, before you connect with friends and other people. You are around them most of your life or growing up. So to think that you can't have conflict or that you're not going to argue, those are kind of your safe people in a way. Those are the people that you can feel the most connected to, the most defensive of, the ones that you're going to go to bat for quicker than you would a friend or coworker or anybody that you meet. Those are the people that are the closest to you. So I know that there have been some huge family divides. There are a lot of families out there where sibling rivalry or family conflict has divided families where they're no longer speaking to each other. They're cutting each other off. That happens a lot. And I think if you're cutting a family member off, there has to be an incredibly good reason for it. I've seen people who have some mental disorders cut people off, like narcissists or borderlines or avoidant personality disorders, people with major mental issues going on. I've seen them cut people off. But it is not just those people that cut people off. It's people that have no mental disorder. Or maybe you cut someone off in your family because they're incredibly difficult to get along with. But is it just that you don't see eye to eye? My thing with sibling rivalry or disagreement, and I am the first to admit, I think sometimes I'm way too harsh and I need to soften in that area because I think sometimes it's not fair for me to be as confrontational as I can be. It's just very hard for me not to speak my mind and say what I'm clearly thinking. And there's also a comfort that we're always going to be there for each other. It's a safe zone. It's a safe place. It's a place where you don't have to pretend. You don't have to be fake. You don't have to be politically correct. You can argue your political views. I think that, it's an area that I can be mad 1 minute and then, hey, we're moving on the next. Like, forgiven, forgotten. You don't even need to say you're sorry. You're already forgiven. And I move on. Some people don't deal with things that way. Even within families, it could be your parents where you say one thing that makes them angry and they're not speaking to you for days because you spoke to me in that way. And I just think there has to be a quickness to forgive, and there has to be a quickness to let go. It's the place where, okay, let's talk about our political views. Let's be okay with that if we disagree. Let it go. Like, argue and then let it go. Start over. Like, forgive and forget. But I know that there are a lot of families and siblings where that just doesn't work that well. There's a closeness, but there's also a misunderstanding. I think your Myers-Briggs type can be an area where that creates conflicts and issues. In fact, that's probably a video that I could really do, but I think I would have to do a lot of research and there are some people who, hey, they're phenomenal at Myers-Briggs that could probably tell you right off the bat which types just don't get along. And what's funny is you can be one letter off from a type and have more conflict than you would from someone who is the complete and total opposite of your MBTI type. So I'm curious if there's an MBTI type that you don't get along very well with, then put that down in the comment section below. But I'd also be curious to know if there are people in your family who have certain MBTI types that you just find you cannot get along with at all, and how do you deal with it? When you are arguing with a sibling, can you let it go? Sometimes thinkers and feelers can have conflict between each other, or you can have two thinkers that butt heads, or two feelers, because they're getting too deep into their feelings to think rationally about things. Sometimes in families we have a pattern that we're comfortable with. There are scapegoats in families where one person sort of acts out for everyone in the family, which is kind of not fair to that person. They get, you've heard of the black sheep of the family. Usually there's a lot of conflict, or there are some issues or some dysfunctional issues in that family, but then one person subconsciously takes it on for everyone, and everyone looks at that person as bad, when really, if you delve a little bit deeper, there are some underlying issues that need to be dealt with. So in what circumstances is it okay to cut off a family member? I think if there's been abuse, like serious abuse, I think that person, first of all, certain types of abuse, they really have to be you have to turn that person in, although that's painful. There are a lot of family secrets out there because someone is protecting someone who's maybe sexually abused someone. That's not cool. I just heard a situation on the radio like that where the mom's husband abused the daughter and she refuses to leave him. That is completely unacceptable. That's unacceptable. So there are some areas where, I can totally understand cutting someone off, turning them in, all of that. But then there are some petty issues where it's something that's so silly. I shouldn't say silly because I don't want to trivialize someone's feelings or what's important to them. But I think in some situations you have to accept each other for who you are. There's gonna be some people MBTI types in your families that are more dominant, and it's okay to, I guess, give that person a bit of a pass because you know they're not going to change and they're going to be take charge and they're going to be naturally offensive and they don't mean to be. So I think there has to be some tolerance and some acceptance. I think sometimes it's okay to say, this is how I feel. This is, can we set up some new boundaries? Or you can also teach people how to treat you. I mean, there are some family members that I enjoy spending time with them in person, but I will not, like holidays is cool, but outside of the holidays, no thank you. Because they're too difficult. I can't. Like, I have to protect my psyche. I have to protect, there are just certain boundaries. Like, everybody's stressed out. I'm not willing to be that stressed out all year long. However, there's just going to be some conflict within families. There are going to be some people in your families that may have some disorders. So you have to learn to either cope with that or set some boundaries or do some accepting or set limits. But I think overall, family is family. Your sisters, your brothers, your cousins. I think you should really try to create a peaceful environment. I think we all have to be willing to look at our own faults and our own flaws. There are some people who are quite hypocritical. They dish it, but they can't take it. So are you that person that you can dish it, but you can't take it? So when somebody comes back at you the same way you come at them, you crumble, you fall to pieces. Do you never take ownership of what you do? We all get grouchy, we all get cranky sometimes, but you have to, I think you have to do some acceptance of some difficult behavior because there is a level of comfort, there is a level of, hey, we are here for each other no matter what. But if you are in the middle of sibling rivalry, I hope this is the year where you can come to new resolution. It's never too late. Sometimes we dig in our heels and we don't want to change, or we want to right fight, like I'm right, or I just can't deal with that person. So can you maybe open up a small window where maybe you don't see that person all the time, but there are some times when you can see them. Can you also see them for who they are? Like, maybe they had some trauma. Maybe they have some PTSD. There's some things that maybe your parents did that created some issues within them. They can't help it. I think most people want to be accepted. Most people want to be loved. Most people want to feel special in some way. Most people want to get some type of attention or like having attention. So let's let this be the year of trying to bridge some gaps and heal and be the bigger person when it comes to civil rivalry and make some changes in your life, right? If you have sibling rivalry or even family conflict with a specific MBTI type in your family, then let us know below what your MBTI type is and what theirs is and how you deal with it, because it's a very real thing, and I think we all can use a little help in that area. So if you want to see more videos like this, please like my video. It really makes my day. And share these videos with people in your family that you would like to resolve some conflict with, or people who are going through this. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you